we do this a lot as Christians, we kind of kid ourselves that we can have one foot in God's kingdom and one foot in the world. We try to do the dance, right? What can I kind of get away with and sort of still be in God's kingdom but get to live in the world at the same time? We don't really like to say that out loud that we do that, but most of us do that little dance. But Jesus says we can't have both. In Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. We really can't do that little dance very successfully. And we probably are familiar with Joshua 24. It's that kind of famous passage. It's on a lot of plaques and homes. If serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. So God's calling us to make a decision, saying you can't have one foot in the world and one foot in God's kingdom. Which are you going to pick? I think the analogy would kind of be like this. How would you feel if your husband decided to act loving to you in the evening, but by day had a mistress? I mean, how would that make you feel? Does God... Not very good is the answer I was hoping for. I mean, you would probably demand that he pick either you or the mistress. You'd probably say, you have to choose. You can't have us both. It's the same way with God. We pretend like we can just go ahead and live in the world and kind of have a mistress of the world in a sense, or whatever you want to call it. And that we can just come to God when we're ready, and he'll just be waiting for us to say, oh, it's okay, I don't really care if you had an affair. Just pop in whenever you feel like it. If you want to use me for some reason, I'm here. It's just not how it works, right? But we tend to treat it that way. Let's talk about how we resist the secular influences of our culture. And the first point is to love God so much that you want to please him more than you want to engage in unbiblical behavior. Okay, secondly, though, I call it focusing on the if-then promises of God as a giant incentive to follow his ways as opposed to our culture. I call it the if-then promises because he has so many conditional promises in his word. It's like, when you do this, I'll give you this. If you do this, then this. When you act like this is what's going to happen, good or bad. But everything's like this if-then kind of promise. And they're huge incentives. I have to tell you, we used this incentive plan when Raul and I were dating. And so, we're attracted to each other, and, we weren't that old, that, the hormones were still firing. So we were really attracted to each other. Well, when you're really attracted to each other, and plus you've already had sex before, you kind of know that this could be really good. And so you're fighting this temptation, and what kept us from succumbing to that temptation was focusing on the if-then promises of God. We did not want to miss out on the blessings that we knew were ours if we would follow his plan, which was to be pure and to be righteous and to fight for righteousness. We so wanted God's blessing and promises that we fought the culture and what it said would be fine because we did not want to miss the blessings. And for us, we tended to focus on Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And so we focused on delighting the Lord in everything we did. Delight the Lord in everything we did. And he has blessed us more than we could ever imagine. But we focused on the if-then promises of God. And that's a huge way to fight the culture. So when the culture's saying, turn left, but you know that that's against God, think, you know what? What does God promise if I fight against that and follow him? If I fight for righteousness, what are his promises? Soak yourself in those promises, and it's a great incentive plan.